Hello everyone, welcome to the Corner Library on this Sunday the 11th, I think, of August, I think it is. Is today the 10th or the 11th? I'm not too sure. I'll correct myself in the subtitles. It is a cloudy day here in central Victoria. We have had a few beautiful sunny days, which really reminded me of spring, and in actual fact the daffodils are telling me that it is really spring weather, and which has been lovely, but it has been a little concerning. Today it is overcast but still mild actually in temperature. So anyway, we can't complain too much. We just have to go with it, don't we? I hope your week has been as wonderful as mine. Each day has presented something new and exciting. So I hope yours has too, whether that be that you've walked in the garden and you see a new flower. I have been spending time with the chickens and in the garden, which has been lovely. So yeah, anything that makes your day better and more relaxing or happier, I think is important. Okay, let's get into this. Let us get into this, everyone. Sorry about the glasses. Right, a couple of interesting things happened to me this week. First of all, I bought this one. This is The Letter by Catherine Hughes. Now, I bought this along with another one of hers called The Key from Tea Leaves and Reads in the UK. Again, I will put all their details in the description box below if you are not aware of them and you haven't been watching us for very long. I do love Tea Leaves and Reads. Their customer service is exemplary. Their books are wonderful, and oftentimes I buy their hardcovers, which we don't get a lot of over here in the novels. Now, I read this week, and I have to say I'm very excited to be now looking forward to reading the other in this by Catherine Hughes, which is The Key. This was beautiful. This is oh gosh, it's a whole heap of things. It's quite an enigma actually. There is some sort of sad and moving emotional bits to this story, but there's also some really fun and inviting and interesting. There's also a little bit of historical information in here. It does touch on, we are in Ireland and America. It does touch on it. The story itself is centered around the Irish Catholic mother and baby homes that were and have been in the news quite a lot over the last 5 years or so. But it's more than that, and it begins with something else. There are a number of stories in this. You know, I don't like to tell you all the details, but oh look, it's just lovely. We begin with a domestic abuse situation. Actually, there's two domestic abuse situations in this. One committed by a father to a daughter, and when I say abuse, it's not sexual abuse, it's verbal and physical abuse. One from a father to a daughter and from a husband and a wife in two different eras. We go back in time. The letter is the centre of this story. I really like our main character. She has her faults, like we all do, but she overcomes them, and she's a bit of a fighter. She develops really well in this. And there's also a bit of a love story too. So look, I do recommend this. If you're interested at all in a little bit of romance, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of historical content, and the going back and forward in time, the two timelines. It really is lovely. And I cannot wait to read Catherine's other novel that I have, which is The Key. Really, really good reading. It is a simple read and an easy read, but it has a complexity to it as well, mainly in the story and how it is constructed. I really enjoyed this and I do recommend it. Now, this is by Headline Review and was published in, let me get it for you, everyone. This was actually published in 2015. And 2015, Headline Publishing Group or Headline Review, and is approximately, not quite 400 pages. A really good read, everyone. I enjoyed it. It has been described as uplifting. I don't know that I found it uplifting, and I didn't find it overly sad. There were those range of emotions that I went through, but it was revealing, and it was... it resolved in a good way, actually, although not always the way that you would like it to, but it resolved. She's done a good job. Catherine's done a really good job on this, so I recommend this one. So that's that. Now, what I did do this week last weekend, I found a secondhand bookshop online, which is in New South Wales. It's called LAMDHA. LAMDHA. I will put their details in the description box below. Although Michael, the owner, did tell me that they will be offline. I think it's fairly soon. I'll give you those details anyway. So they won't be taking orders whilst they are offline, obviously. And I'll give you the dates of that. But I do recommend you have a really good look online if you are looking for books that are no longer available, or you're wanting a secondhand book at a really reasonable price. I found these 4 books. I was really chuffed. Michael was super with customer service, communicative, and very quick to deliver. I think I ordered them on the Sunday, on the weekend, and I had them delivered, I think it was by Tuesday. They were in our post office box. So from Sydney, that's fairly impressive. Okay, so the first one is A Folio Society. They're all secondhand. Folio Society. This is a memoir of Jane Austen by James Austen Leigh, who was her nephew. I have not read this, so I am really looking forward to it. It is written some 50 years after Jane Austen's passing, and the nephew, the author of this, does tell you that obviously we have to remember that it is 50 years after her passing, and his memory may not be exact, but it is as he remembers Jane. We also have in this photos, diagrams that had not been seen prior to the release of this. This sort of biography, I guess, of Jane. This is beautiful. It's a linen cover, Folio Society in the sleeve. And look, I'm really looking forward. I've started it, but I'm really looking forward to reading it further. Now, there's James Edward Austen Leigh there. He is the author and the nephew of, or he was the author and the nephew of this. I'm looking forward to this. It was a reasonable price. I think it was about $24. And I haven't seen it before. And in this older, when was this? I'll just let you know. It was this one. The original, of course, was published in about 1871, but this edition is 1997. I was first published in 1870. There you go. So I was really excited about that, and I have flicked through it and started it, and I love the way it begins. It appears to me that it's going to be a really good read, so I'm very excited about that. Now, The reason why I did buy these 4 books from LAMDHA Books, secondhand books, is because I had been looking for some time at Elizabeth David's Harvest of the Cold Months. Now, I have seen this elsewhere, but this is a really immaculate condition and also was a very good price. So I couldn't help myself. Now, Elizabeth David was an English chef, really sort of popular and dominant in the 40s, 50s and 60s. She has now passed away. She is no longer with us, but she has written quite a few books, memoirs and sort of travel books on food, about food and including food. She's written quite a few. She's very, very witty. She was really one of the, oh, sorry everyone, the bookmarks are coming out, the business card. She was really instrumental, I guess, in bringing back tasty food to an austere England. With all of the rations and things after the war, Elizabeth David was very much instrumental in bringing back herbs and garlic and things like that to the English cuisine. Now, this is actually about the history of ice and the role that it played in food originally, and why it began featuring in food. Now, Elizabeth David is very witty in her writing. I'm excited to begin this because it is a travel memoir. She goes to Russia and France and Italy. It's all about food or ice, particularly in foods in those countries. We do get a few photos and things. It's quite a substantial book, really, on ice. This is around about 400 pages. And, sorry, everyone, I'm just ruining the book as I go. But she's really witty in her writing, and it's not just about the food. It is about the country and the landscape and the people and who she meets and what she meets. So the reason why I went to LAMDHA Books originally is because of Elizabeth David. I'm really, as you all know, I do love cooking. I do make my own ice cream and fragrant and colourful ice blocks for summer in drinks and things. So I am looking forward to this because I've been wanting this for quite some time. So that's that. I recommend. Now, this next one, this is another one from LAMDHA Books. This is Green Gauge Summer by Ruma Gooden, or Godden. This is a folio society in the sleeve, absolutely beautiful cover with a gold inlay on the leaves there. This is semi-autobiographical. She says in here, also, as did James Austen Leigh, that it's not complete. Her memory is not complete. It is what she remembers of a summer with her siblings and her mother travelling to France for a summer. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I cannot wait. Now, Ruma Godden also wrote Black Narcissus. This is brilliant, everyone. It's absolutely, I loved it. It is based in the early 19th century. Sorry, I beg your pardon, 20th century, in the 1900s. Where a number of nuns go, they establish a convent in, I think it's in the Himalayas from memory, and what happens around that. it is sensational. It is very atmospheric. There's also a little bit of almost either a psychological thriller or a bit of a gothic theme throughout it. It's really, really interesting. It is not boring. It is not just about the nuns. It is about the establishing of this convent in what is really, or what they believe is a rather austere and particularly unfriendly, not even a village really. It's in an area near a village. Look, I loved it. I absolutely love this, and I do recommend it. And that is why I bought Green Gage Summer. Oh, just knock myself out there, everyone. Green Gage Summer, which is her, as I say, it is semi-autobiographical. And I'm loving the linen covers of the Folio Society. Again, this was about $24 or something, which is brilliant for a secondhand Folio Society. And I do recommend Rumer Godden, or some people pronounce it Rumer Gordon. However you pronounce it, that's up to you. But I really do prefer, and I think it is Rumer Godden. Now, a few weeks ago, I showed you and told you about Alison Weir's The Cardinal. This was absolutely brilliant. If you are interested in Tudor and Plantagenet, I mean, it really does focus. It is focusing more on, much more on the Tudors with Cardinal Wolsey. So I recommend this, absolutely fantastic. And what I did buy from LAMDHA Books is Thomas Wolsey's His Life and Death. This is by basically his manservant. Again, from LAMDHA Books, it's the Folio Society. This was really effectively, I think he was his manservant or companion, I guess. This was written a few years after Wolsey's death. And this, by Alison Weir, she does mention that she used some of this in her story about the Cardinal. So I'm looking forward to this. I began reading it. It is written, obviously, in the 16th century, so you do have to be aware of the terminology and the style of writing. But I'm looking forward to it because this is probably the best account that we have of Thomas Wolsey. If you're interested at all in him and Cromwell around and being involved in Henry VIII, it's really interesting. So I do recommend that, but I'm glad I bought that from LAMDHA Books. And this is their, I'll just show you, this is their business card. But I will put the details of the LAMDHA Books in the description box below. So to finish off today, I have mentioned these in the past, but what I'm trying to do is each time I sit down with you is just remind you, or if you have only just joined the channel, to let you know just a few books that have truly either resonated with me or have left a big impression on me. So these are, or I've just really, really enjoyed and have subsequently left a good or happy impression on me. So this one is Benjamin Myers' The Offing. This is English, set in, from memory, the early 1920s. It is it's reminiscent of A Month in the Country and Laurie Lee's, I can't remember Laurie Lee's, title of Laurie Lee's childhood memoir. I'll put that in the subtitles for you. Isn't that strange? It's actually one of my favourite novels of all. Oh, Cider with Rosie. Thank you. Cider with Rosie by Laurie Lee. It's very reminiscent of that. It is beautiful. It's exquisite. It's a tale of a young boy coming of age after the war. And I can't remember if it's the First or the Second World War, actually, now that I've said that. Let me have a look. I think it might be the Second World War. Oh, yes, it is. The Second World War. And our young boy, Robert Appleyard, goes for after school, in his school break, he goes for a walk to discover himself. And he walks across England and finds himself in Robin Hood's Bay, which is up north in England, and meets an elderly lady. This story is absolutely beautiful. It is sort of a coming of age, but it's a whole lot more than that. It is about friendship and tolerance and the beauty of nature and living with nature and being kind and being thoughtful and compassionate. It is beautiful. It resonated with me very much. As I say, A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr and Cider with Rosie by Laurie Lee. If you enjoyed them at all, if you have read them and enjoyed them, this is definitely should be on your to be read list as a result of that, because it is beautiful. Now, a couple of others which are fiction. That's fiction, by the way. Laurie Lee's is a childhood memoir, and that's Cider with Rosie, and A Month in the Country is actually fiction as well. These are now fiction. This is Maud Horton's Glorious Revenge. Unfortunately, as I was holding the book, the gold inlay has rubbed off, which is a bit unfortunate. Again, these next couple of books I bought from Tea Leaves and Reads. Fun. Gothic. We have... I don't want to tell you too much about this because it is a little bit involved, and if I begin telling you, I'm going to have to tell you the whole story. But it is about a missing sister. Let me just clarify that, because it is quite a while since I read this. It is in the mid-1800s in England, in London. Yes, that's right. Constance Horton has disappeared, and her sister Maud is trying to find her. I love this. It's beautifully written, great story, great mystery, and a brilliant ending. So I recommend that if you have not seen my previous videos on that, recommending it. This is, oh, by the way, everyone, that's by Lizzie Pook. And this one is by Chelsea Iverson. This is The Peculiar Garden of Harriet Hunt. This is Gothic in its style, in its genre, but there's an element of it that is really believable, even though it's not. There's a bit of fantasy there, but it is brilliant. It is, Harriet Hunt is left on her own. She's a young girl in London, and she has a very peculiar garden. There's a few cloak and dagger type things happening in this. I recommend it. Again, I can't remember the era that it's in, everyone. I think it's current day. No, it's Victorian. So although it doesn't specify an actual time, I think. Oh, yes, it does. Here we go. She says. 1866. So we actually begin before then. The page at the front that gives us the date is a newspaper article, and that is dated 1866, but the story is a little bit before then. So again, we're in that mid-1800s in England. I absolutely loved both of these, just because they're fun, they were different, they were interesting to read, they were funny, they were enthralling, compelling, I really enjoyed them. They are fiction, but really, really good. And the last one I want to recommend, which I read quite a few years ago, my Mark bought these for me, and I did a review on this, and I told you at the time that I was rather reluctant to read it because anything to do with animals, I can't even reread Black Beauty because I just cry. I read Black Beauty when I was, oh gosh, I must have been 8 or 9, and I've never been able to read it since. It absolutely broke my heart. So anything with animals, even watching on the television or at a film, at the pictures, I have to be really careful because anything to do with animals, unless the animal wins or is the dominant winner of whatever's happening in the story, then I really cannot watch documentaries. I have over the years watched documentaries, but I find it really hard going for me because I just cry and it breaks my heart, and then I'm really feel down for quite some time. But this is A Handful of Happiness by, now I have to get his name correct because he is Italian, Massimo Macetta, with Antonella Tomaselli. This is a true story. It is sort of a memoir about Nina the hedgehog, who invades Massimo's life. I'll just try and get the date here. I think it was this was first published in 2018, so it was early 2000s maybe, although I think the story is a little bit before that. I think it might be the 1990s. Massimo Vachetta comes across a hedgehog, has had nothing to do with him before, and he subsequently sets up a hedgehog rescue centre. But that's at the end of the story. Throughout the story, we have this beautiful evolution of Massimo, and the evolution of him as a person, of his relationships, life in general, and how his interaction with Nina and the discovery of her life and what hedgehogs require, and their story, their place in nature in a human world, is as compared to the natural world. Look, I found this not sad at all. It was really encouraging, uplifting. I love this. There was so much to this. It was just beautiful. It's really well written. It has been transcribed by Antonella, but this. Yeah, look, and there are photos in this. Hang on, there are photos. There's a whole midsection of coloured photos. I recommend this, I really do, because if you're interested in nature, if you're interested in a person's growth and why they grow, we all grow or change for different reasons. It could be that a book changes you, or an animal changes you, or a tree, or some event in your life. But it's really interesting to see an Italian man who had absolutely nothing to do with nature, really, and how his life was changed. I love this, and I do recommend it. If you are an animal lover, as I am, and you find it really hard to read books about animals, I can assure you that this is one that you can and should read. It's beautiful. So that's that, everyone. And these others, The Offing by Benjamin Myers, I absolutely loved. The Peculiar Garden of Harriet Hunt, Chelsea Iverson, absolutely brilliant. Maud Horton's Glorious Revenge by Lizzie Pook, another one. And, oh, well, a few weeks ago, of course, Alison Weir, the Cardinal, but I showed you that because from LAMDHA Books, I bought this beautiful edition, secondhand, in immaculate condition, absolutely immaculate. I mean, it looks as though it's never been read, to be honest. This is about Thomas Wolsey, and it is written by his manservant come companion at the time. It was written a few years after his death, but it was his somebody who would know him firsthand. And of course, another one, the Greengage Summer Rumour Godden, and I recommended quite some time ago Black Narcissus. I really love that, and I'm looking forward to diving into Greengage Summer. Elizabeth David, she's absolutely fantastic, witty, informative, well worth. Her cookbooks are fantastic, and she just gives this brilliant history and information on food. Really interesting. It's that she does it really well, so that you, even if you don't, you're not a great cook, or you're not interested in cooking or anything like that, but you want to know about the history of things and the history of places and things. She's very good. And Jane Austen, a memoir by her nephew, James Austen Lee. I'm looking forward to getting into that. I have started a few pages of these books that I bought from LAMDHA Books, and I am very excited. And The Letter, which I do recommend, by Catherine Hughes. I think it's simply written, and yet there is a complexity to it, and I loved it. And there's a lot packed into this, actually. There's a lot packed into it, so I do recommend it. Okay, everyone, that is it. I have been telling you that I have a couple of projects coming up. I am still working on those, but they're looking more and more, not to completion, not at all, but the first stage of the projects are coming to fruition. I will be able to tell you more in the coming months. I don't want to tease and torment you, but I just want to, I'm really excited, and I want you in on it without telling you everything. I want you in on this journey and this excitement, because I'm hoping by about November I should be able to tell you a lot more. Unless I'm able to tell you a bit more before then. But I'm very excited, everyone, and you're involved in it. That's the whole thing. That's why I'm wanting to tell you. I'm wanting to get you excited, because you are part of it, and I'm really looking forward to it. Very exciting. So do stay tuned, everyone. Okay, that's it. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I am now going to get changed. I have to go for my 5-kilometre walk, and then I'm going out. I have a few chores to do out in town. When I say in town, in our local community. So I just have to get a few bits and bobs. And the boys are doing well. Arthur's ears are doing well. Rooney's breath is much better with the little infection that he had. Ellie's doing well. She's settled into single life as a single woman out in the paddock. And yeah, everybody's doing well. Flynn's okay. He's somewhere around enjoying the sunshine that is starting to stream through I know he will be on the kitchen chair in the sun, with the sun streaming through the window. I know that's where he will be for sure. Okay, enjoy your week, everyone. I will see you next week, and with more books, more interest. Don't forget, the description box below will have LAMDHA details and anything else that I've missed, or if I've got anything wrong, it will all be in either the description box or in the subtitles. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful week wherever you are in the world. Look after yourselves. Remember, every day, try to choose something. We all go through really tough times, but every day just choose something that you're grateful for. Every day I make sure that at least 3 things I remind myself that what I'm grateful for. The food that I eat, the love that I have from the animals and Mark, or the house, the roof that I have over my head, or the flowers in the garden, or something that exciting happening, or a wonderful book that I've read. So I'm wishing you 3 good things every day in your life. Until next week. We'll see you then. Take care, everyone. Happy reading. Bye for now.